Hello everybody, this is Slicey Dicey with yet another knife review for you. Today we have the Killimanjaro Allatro. Fairly inexpensive knife. We're looking at about 27 bucks here. Nothing too flashy, just something I thought would be kind of unique. Turned out to be a bit more unique than I thought. We'll get to that later. Killimanjaro, if you haven't heard of the company, they are kind of an jack of all trades outdoors company out of California. They make tents, they make knives, obviously, backpacks, lights, all kinds of stuff, mostly made in China. Probably stuff they just put their name on, but I saw it on Blade HQ and I thought it looked cool. I saw one other crazy YouTube video where the guy was like flipping around with it and stuff and doing all knife fighting crazy things with it, and I thought it looked cool. We'll get to whether or not I was right about that. It looks great in this view. It is cool looking in that kind of ultra urban tactical way. The G10 looks cool. The blade finish is pretty nice. Most of the hardware looks pretty good. So I can't really knock it there. But where I can start to knock it, and this is the thing I like the most, is the dimensions. I'm going to pull the ruler out. I'm using a different background today. So you guys let me know what you think about this. I have the other one with the squares and stuff on it. But I want to try to change this up a little bit. When I review a blue knife, obviously the blue background to get kind of lost in it. I just wanted to try this one out with this knife and see how I liked it. So we have an overall length of 8¼ inches, which is pretty good size. They claim 3.25 inch blade, but as you can see, it's actually a little longer than that. Usable length is about 3.25, so I get that. But that's not where this knife gets truly huge. The first huge dimension is the weight. 6.3 ounces. It's a pretty heavy knife for that size of blade. No, it's a really heavy knife for that size of blade. But here's the really big dimension. The width on this sucker. It is, make sure we're focusing, as near as to not matter, 3/4 of an inch wide. It's a thick knife. It's very thick. And you feel it in your pocket for sure. We'll get to that when I talk about the ergonomics of it. The build quality I can't say is terrible. There are some flaws that pop up when you get to the ergonomics. But I mean, look, the lockup's pretty good. The blade centering is not as good. You're a little off to the left there, but it's not horrid. The pocket clip looks good. Like I said, all the hardware looks good. It does have a lanyard hole that is for some reason split in the middle. I don't like that at all. That just seems like a begging to be, yeah, and the blade almost sticks out of there. That just seems like it's asking for trouble. I don't know why they did that. But yeah, it doesn't look terrible at a glance, and it's 27 bucks. You got to keep that in mind, and we're going to keep it in mind a lot at the end of the review. But let's just go into some size comparisons. Keep things moving here. Stop my rambling. We have Spyderco Para 2. So this is what I used to consider a big knife until I got my hands on this thing. This is bigger. I mean, this is a Paramilitary 2 feels like a paperclip compared to this in your pocket. And your Spyder Delica 4, just to I almost always use this one for almost every knife for comparison, so to keep things familiar. And now two knives that are going to come into play later in the review. You'll see why. You have your Ontario Rat 1, which is also a knife that I used to consider to be huge. Now it feels kind of svelte compared to this. And something I just got that I'll be doing a full review on maybe Sunday, maybe early next week. The Emerson Kershaw Emerson CQC 6K. So, all right. Now let's talk about. We're going to next. Let's talk about the overall. I talked about the overall design a little bit. It's obviously just meant to look as tactical as possible, and I guess they achieve that. Let's talk the ergonomics. That's the second big fail of this knife. It's not just that it's thick; it's that it's uncomfortable. It's just uncomfortable in my hand. It's not. The jimping is good, I guess. The jimping's okay. The jimping is effective, but there are a lot of sharp edges on this when I squeeze down on it. This The full, completely unskeletonized liners. You can feel every inch of those. It's such a big handle. It's still surprising that this jabs into my hand. I didn't expect that. Yeah, it's ergonomically in your hand not good, and it's just so heavy, and it's all handle. The blade doesn't weigh much. You're looking at 8CR 13 MOV steel, which is not awesome, but for 27 bucks, you know, a few years ago that would have been perfectly acceptable, and it still kind of is, I guess. But now there's stuff that's better in that same price range, better steel. 8CR 13 MOV is fine, but it's I have personally had some, not, I wouldn't go as far as to call it rust issues, but some staining and stuff on them that I've had to make some effort to clean off. So I'm not a fan of it. Much prefer an 8CR 14 or AUS 8 in a budget knife. So it's definitely not the weight of the blade. I mean, it's a hefty blade. It's pretty thick. What is the blade thickness on this? I forgot to look that up. Let's just measure it. Let's just do that ourselves. So, yeah, I mean, it's not crazy. It's not crazy thick, but the grind, there's still a lot of metal left on there, but it's still very handle heavy. That's why I was talking so much about the blade at this point, because it's definitely not the weight of the blade that makes this thing heavy. It's these super thick, unskeletonized liners. Some of the action on it, it's not amazing. It's not bad, but it's not like a not definitely a quick flipper knife. The thumb studs are okay. They stick out just about the right amount. And you can flick it up, but it definitely takes a pretty significant wrist flip to get it going. I think that's, again, because most of the weight's in the handle and the blade's pretty light. So, in comparison, the blade's not light, but in comparison to that gigantic handle. But here's where this thing falls down. Like I said, it's $27. Here's the real part where it falls down. The two of these knives I showed you are almost exactly the same price. For about 30 bucks, you can get either an Ontario Rat 1 in a similar, just about the similar size. And if you want something that's super tactical, you can get the Kershaw Emerson CQC6, both of which are much better options. This almost the identical price. This like $2 more. You're looking at 8CR 14 in the Kershaw, which is well, like I said, I prefer better. AUS 8, which is basically almost identical to 8CR 14. So yeah, I would, and ergonomically both of these. This is an ergonomically awesome knife. It's one of my favorite things about the Rat series. I know a lot of people love the Rat, but they like it for a lot of reasons. But my favorite reason to love it is the ergonomics. It feels great in your hand. This also feels great in your hand, and it's got the cool flipper, and it says Emerson on it. A lot of reasons to get that. And if you're buying something for your tactical knife fighting kind of thing, I mean, that's what this was designed for. CQC stands for close quarters combat, and Emerson knows what he's doing with that, and he designed it. So yeah, this is gonna be kind of a short review because honestly I just don't have a lot to gush about with this thing. I just don't. I mean, yeah, it does cut okay. I cut some stuff with it. It's the edge out of the box is all right. It's not outstanding, but it's pretty good. It's a decent slicer and all that. It's a functional knife, and I don't think it's gonna break on you because it's built like a tank. I don't know how well it's built. Maybe it might break on you, but my limited impressions dealing with it for the last week or so is that it does hold together. I never had to tighten the pivot or anything, thank God, because it's got this weird thing on it. Yeah, I cannot recommend this one, guys. I would say this is a firm pass from Slicey Dicey. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that some other people were interested in this because I couldn't find hardly any information about it when I saw it. I guess now I kind of know why, but I hope it does come up and give some other people some information at some point. But it's, I guess it does have a second tactical use if you wanted to just fold it and throw it at somebody. And you could do some damage with that. you can definitely hit them right between the eyes like David and Goliath, and they go down like a sack of taters. But all right, this has been the review of the Killimanjaro Allatro. I've been Brian, as always. Have a good one, everybody.